everybody. This has worked out approximately correctly. Welcome to the second TING Qualifier. I'm casting with Rifkin, and I am in charge this time. So, as always, if any of the sound is off or anything like that, let me know. And speaking of
it's
which,
funny, because this was actually the first qualifier, and we had done things and sorted it. And it's still technically TING Qualifier number 1, but it is the second TING Qualifier.
Yeah, it was a little bit confusing for the people that actually pay attention to the brackets, but hopefully no one really did.
This is a perfect example of esports constantly having to move things around.
Alright, so I apparently have to change Twitch alerts here. So you're gonna hear some fake alerts go off.
Oh yeah, I gotta still find new sounds. I'm looking for some like really good like 80s sounds, guys, for some of the new alerts. If you have any suggestions, I'm all down. But otherwise, yeah, we're just going with what happened yesterday on the drunk stream for sounds and effects.
Okay, that didn't really work. We just have to redo this entirely. So the bracket shouldn't be very super large today, but it is double elimination. It is still Korean Thanksgiving, and this is a North American-based tournament. NA West is the priority server, for instance. So all those factors combined, plus the Coliseum thing happening now, it'll be a little bit small, but hopefully still a lot of good games. What am I looking for here? Browser source. Oh,
the key thing about this is, sorry guys, I'm still trying to finish this piece of toast, but the key thing about this is whoever ends up winning, like whichever 2 players that qualify, will determine what region we're looking to make this qualifier group of. So for example, if 1 Korean and 1 North American player qualify through, we'll probably match 1 for 1 on the invites. Same to be said if it's 2 Koreans that qualify through, we'll probably invite 2 Koreans just to make the groups a little bit more easier. Just in terms of dynamics for server preference and all that.
So, I did the thing. Why do I have to move it? It looks pretty good where it is now. Kind of in the middle, upper middle, right?
If it looks good wherever you have it, just leave it. We can fiddle on the go. I was just trying to describe to you what I had done. That's all. Okay. As long as it looks good on stream, ultimately, that's all that matters.
Well, guys, I think it looks pretty okay there. So it's
how pretty does it look, right?
I mean, it's definitely explosive. Get it? Oh,
yeah.
No. Oh no. Oh, because it's been cropped. That's why. Well, now I've successfully fixed all the scenes, and we can get going. So, the brackets have been finalized. Last time we had sort of and Xancer to Zergs get through. Of course, there's the European server, and let's see what games we have, perhaps. Some okay signups of Impact and Keen and Nice. Rainer signed up, so maybe you'll just follow Lillekanin to Rainer to whoever he faces. Oh my god, that was loud. Better catch him before
That's a good idea, actually.
Okay, there he is. We're gonna cast you. Alright, so this is veto-based, and as such, we'll be needing some time for them to hand me over the maps. There we go. That's what it's called.
They're really bad. I bought a bunch of these like little juices, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it came in 3 flavors for like 24 pack. So like, 8 of each flavor, or whatever. There's orange, apple, and grapefruit. And I drank all the apple right away because I fucking love apple juice. But now I looked at it. There's an expiry date on this thing. Best before November 9th, 2017. It's a while ago, by the way, guys. So now, I don't even like orange juice. I don't even like grapefruit. I bought it in case I had guests / if my roommate wanted any, which she's got now, thank God. But I really don't want to waste this. And I'm drinking orange juice, and I really don't like orange juice.
That is unfortunate. Orange juice is usually pretty well liked by most people. I can think of the first person that's ever been like, I actually don't like it. Some people don't prefer it, I suppose, but...
Well, don't get me wrong. I don't hate it or anything. I'm not going to feel like I'm getting tortured drinking orange juice. Maybe with the grapefruit, but not with the orange juice.
Well, I mean, grapefruit. Grapefruit, I know a lot of people don't like, so that makes no sense. But,
Yeah, I don't get those people who can just eat like half of a grapefruit for breakfast. Like that's a meal for them.
actually, the more that I diet correctly, I suppose, the more I can see that. Because I remember I used to love grapefruit. My mom would always like make it for me and like cut it up and then sprinkle some sugar on it, which makes it delicious. And
Yeah, that
grapefruits
was
are
what my
big.
grandma would do.
Grapefruits are really big. So feel like anyone knew the WCS, but apparently the person he's facing might not even be silver, first of all. So this is not going to be the greatest first series of all time, but is also, in fact, a woman. So we should be calling PowerOfSea she.
PowerOfSea.
Oh, droll.
How droll.
That's exactly so.
Yeah, whether this is balanced or not, we left the TING open specifically what it was. Open. We wanted anybody in any league have a chance to compete, no matter how small. I think some of the people who compete today, they know they're not going to beat the likes of some of the Korean GMs, but it could still be fun to compete and play.
Yeah. And that is a lot of the fun of any of these open tournaments. It's a little bit lost nowadays, I suppose. They used to have a bunch of people sign up for the Lima League, for instance, but it is still kind of fun, especially if you face someone who is actually one of your favorites, basically. That was a big reason why I wanted to do it years ago. Just be like, oh, I faced Suit, for instance, in a game, and I killed like a drone, so that was the highlight of my year. But we'll see what PowerOfSea actually has in store. She is Terran, apparently. So it's a TvT
Nice.
in the top left. As the more recognizable of the two, it is the green Terran, Lillekanin.
Wonder if she's single.
Well, I think there's other questions we want to ask first.
Yeah, like who is spawning in the bottom right? And the answer to that is the purple Terran PowerOfSea.
Yeah.
And if there's one map she should be playing on, it's Abyssal Reef.
It's a good point. Not too terrible a surprise to see this vetoed down to Abyssal Reef. But
Yeah, at this point, we're like just making Abyssal Reef like the first map default loser's pick because we know, like, yeah, you guys are just going to veto to this one every single time.
yeah. So, I guess she doesn't know much about Lillekanin. This is being played on, actually, I probably should have asked, but I don't think Lillekanin really cares. Currently on West, US West, that is the default server. I have no idea where PowerOfSea comes from, but Lillekanin is European. But like I said, I don't think he actually is too worried about lag affecting his chances here. Yeah. What's funny is PowerOfSea already kind of falling behind like the tiniest little bit. She skipped an SCV and got a Rax gas and then another SCV, which is like very, very tiny. So you still have a Reaper faster. Very tiny difference.
You know, it is one of these things where I think, regardless of skill for a moment, you know, PowerOfSea could be a GM in this context we're about to go into. This is not Lillekanin's best matchup to cheese in, right? Or play too differently in. Maybe he plays mech, maybe he doesn't, but all the weird shit we see, like battle cruisers and other fast things, don't really apply to TvT. So at the very least, PowerOfSea doesn't have to worry about the Lillekanin factor as much as other players in other matchups would.
I guess that's true. And well, Lillekanin definitely he could have probably T-Rax and cheesed the heck out of her, and probably would have won too, considering she only opened up with a single Reaper into a command center and a reactor. He has chosen to play out a longer game, actually go into what looks to be a very normal TvT.
Yeah, all things considered, again, it's that question of like what is, how good, etc. for PowerOfSea. I really want to see something here that's like a bit of an upset, right? Like look at these matches yesterday, for example. They were really one-sided because I think once he gets scouted, he gets shut down. I don't think it's going to apply as much here to a TvT, generally speaking, but maybe PowerOfSea will surprise us. So far, the build's not bad. I mean, they're on point with keeping up with what Lillekanin's doing at the very least.
Yeah, everything looks on point except for that one SCV that was a little late. But the starport timing is basically matching, and we'll see what pops out of there. Actually, opening up with the reactor to Hellions is not the usual way to open up, but for Lillekanin it is a little more expected, and he's actually opening up with a Widow Mine and a Cyclone, but still point his reactor on the factory. Viking from him, looks like she's maybe a little bit nervous about potential Banshees. She actually hasn't scouted anything despite that earlier Reaper. That's how it is combined with the Hellions. Well, the cloak is on the way actually for her. The engineering bay is at a very weird location.
It's the sickest scout, though. Saw the Reaper coming.
I guess so. You could actually wall off, I suppose, if you wanted to build enough supply depots and put an engineering bay there, too. It's not really worth it past a certain point.
I'll say you guys just kill the Reaper, too, but a lot cheaper of a solution.
And she does pick it off. Very, very fast +1. I mean, I assume that was just for defensive purposes in case Lillekanin also got a Banshee. She wouldn't have to worry about microing back home. And she is also getting a missile turret, but I guess she'll have much faster upgrades, but I'm not sure it's going to be totally worth it to invest into it.
I'm really worried by chat right now, by the way. Johnny Croat says, if you're on the Pale Rifkin, don't drink anything with grapefruit. I know this was a reference to our earlier conversation about the juice, but what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like really trying to figure out what bad science someone learned in high school about grapefruit.
They're like, well, if you don't have any pregnancy or birth control, you can always rely on grapefruit. Flush that system right out. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I have no idea. I feel this is going to be along the lines of like, if you do it in water, you can't get pregnant.
Well, you can't. That's just a fact.
That's not so much a fact. Just in case anyone is really unsure. Also, she's on top. Gravity does not work against you guys.
What?
Or for you, I guess.
Oh man, I thought I knew how all this works. I feel like I've been misled my whole life.
Actually, I have a dozen children. Didn't even know about it.
So scan in the main, by the way. All these points we were making that were nice for PowerOfSea here, unfortunately being negated by this supply block right now. Kind of stings. So double depots are coming down to make up for that third timing, not quite being what they want.
Yeah. Her Banshee also got destroyed pretty easily. Of course, it was scouted so nicely by Lillekanin, and he had everything in place to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't often see a Widow Mine catch a Banshee of all things, but followed up with the Raven Vikings. Easy peasy cleanup. You'll note, guys, Lillekanin is going for factories at this point because he is a guy who does love mech. Mech, I think, can be very powerful on TvT. It's just usually difficult to get it to the supply count where it really is that scary.
Yeah, that is problem number one, but with the build order choice that PowerOfSea has gone for, it's really not such a problem, I think. Her stim is, still... The stim timing isn't really the problem. Late stim happens all the time in TvT because you do go for, Vikings, Ravens, all that stuff first. It's more just, third CC was something she chose to go for, which is now sent over, so that's going to delay any type of push, and then... the upgrade was still a little bit odd and probably should have been saved up for a bit faster of that stim, but she definitely will have faster upgrades. There's no doubt about that. And all things considered, so Lillekanin actually was I'm not even sure she's diamond or silver, but I'm thinking she's actually not that bad. There's missteps here and there, but it totally accepted someone who's not a pro gamer.
Yeah, the odd supply hiccups are definitely not grandmaster quality, but it's definitely not silver.
Yeah,
not at least in terms of playing a macro game.
Yeah, I mean, if she's silver, then maybe she just literally throws her units into an army and can't control it. I don't know, but I would guess this is an alt account or something. Maybe she's European as well, and she should have been on the European server. I actually have no idea, but just watching her macro, it's really not that bad. It has unfortunately fallen behind, and this is going to be huge for going up against mech especially. You got to start that pressure kind of from the get-go, or at least have some flawless macro to back it up. But Lillekanin has gotten away with 3 CC. He's getting up to a very decent tank count with plenty of Vikings and Ravens taking control of the skies. And she's actually the one that's kind of playing defensive with Sensor Towers now on the way up. I don't really need those in the main base against a mech player.
Well, that's part of it, right? That's where some of the question marks when we look at her vision, she never actually saw extra factories. She never actually confirmed necessarily that this may have been mech. So things like drops and otherwise might be imminent and worrisome to her when, as we know, that's not at all the case.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. She just coincidentally saw what looks to be like 2 starports, but
I know, I saw that too. The singular vision.
I think she figured it out. So, unfortunately, figuring out that it's not double starport, she might still think that, yeah, it's Marine tank, which that scan revealing all the Vikings, the setup of tanks. Lillekanin uses Diva. Ugh. Or maybe she uses Diva? Oh, she was the one using Diva, sorry. I was looking at Lillekanin's vision.
How did the topic of PowerOfSea being a girl, by the way, come up? Was that just something they said, or
Lillekanin said? Lillekanin is like, I don't even know if they're silver, and then she's a girl, by the way, LOL. And I was like, oh, that's useful.
I mean, there are so few girls who play at a
He might have
competitive
asked.
level.
Yeah, for sure. He might have asked because of her clan tag, girlies.
You know what? I thought that's a grizzly. I am so dyslexic.
Oh, that's a lot of SCVs going down here. Unfortunately, she was way too far forward, and yeah, just lets all the SCVs die.
Well, heals up the Marines. I guess for the 4th CC, it's not the excuse me, not the end of the world, but yeah, definitely not preferable with the way that went. But landed Vikings and a lot of Marines marching forward. The odd Widow Mine poking away at a medevac. Ouch. But it looks like Lillekanin, I think with Vikings, should be able to zone out at least the medevacs, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah. She was like, it looked like she was going to go for something of a dune drop or even attempting to hide her army, because she had picked up entirely in the medevacs when she went the first time, but has since lost the that idea. It's now just waiting. Unfortunately, Lillekanin almost maxed out, has just skyrocketed ahead in this game, whereas she is now really starting to struggle with the macro. Getting supply blocked once again. I mean, she's on a 4th base and upgrades are still on the way, but her supply is hurting.
Tanks getting some okay shots from the side, but oh god, those Marines had to reach around so far. The Hellbats and Hellions were almost a non-factor in the fight. Everything died to the tanks on arrival. And Lillekanin, I think, has now realized there's the perfect opportunity to push to win.
Yeah. Liberators are not a bad idea, but only if you're able to control the skies. So, and that's something she's not doing. They're gonna be
Liberators are a great way to remove tanks, and when you're fighting a mech player, obviously tanks are one of the things in your mind, but mech players also go for a lot of Vikings. Like, most openings are Hellion Vikings, so it's kind of unfortunate to push them out this early. You're just not going to have any air control at all. This has nothing to do with their league, this just has everything to do with the stylistic play of mech and TvT. But it looks like all she wrote. Well, I guess I could say that when she GG's, but he secrets his own Vikings. A little bit of BM, but it helps kill the tanks in a very weird way.
very light splash damage done there.
Yeah, I mean, there are remarks to be said about a little bit of BM there, but also like an actual choice to do that is not too terrible of an idea. Maybe in some scenarios.
Maybe. Let's learn some things today, Rifkin. Someone links the grapefruit drug interactions Wikipedia. And I'm like, never once have I been warned about eating too much grapefruit. And I've been on the pill for a very long time because it helped with my acne when I was like 13 years old. So
which one?
A very long time. The pill. Like, why is it always called like the pill? Like, it's just like, it just sounds so ominous. Anyways,
I feel like I understand why, because it is like the miracle pill in terms of like what it does. But like, yo, also at the same time, if I've got a wicked sick headache, Tylenol for me is like the most important pill in the world. That's the pill.
Yeah. It was certainly a big deal when it was it was released, basically, but I feel like it's just kind of an old saying, the pill. Anyways, it is going to be her map choice, I believe. Actually, I don't remember. Yeah, loser picks next map, so just veto down to one. Acolyte is her choice, but I'll get into that. So, anyways, I've never been warned, okay? Granted, I don't read the pamphlets either, because who the hell does that? But I've never been like, remember, don't eat a grapefruit. But apparently, this says normal amounts of food and drink, such as 1 whole grapefruit or a small glass of grapefruit juice, can cause drug overdose toxicity. And that sounds dangerous. So.
What?
I don't know, man. So
what you're telling me is next time I fucking like inject some of the marijuanas into my bloodstream, I should have a grapefruit? Like no, this is okay. All joking aside, like let's say you're like a heroin user, you shoot up, like what do you chase it with a grapefruit? Like what the fuck?
Affected drugs typically have an auxiliary label saying "Do not take with grapefruit" on the container. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Also, the relative risks of the different types of citrus fruit have not been systematically studied. So there's like an entire Wikipedia page. So if anyone wants to really read it, they can get into it. But
what the fuck is in grapefruit?
Citrus-based fruit is actually, I think, the entire category. But grapefruit's like more potent than others. I don't know. You guys can read up on it if you want, but I'm not gonna really worry about it yet.
So it's like, knock knock, who's there? Orange, aren't you glad you didn't take a bunch of pills with this grapefruit? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, something like that. But hey, in the top right, sending out the SUVs pretty early. It is Lillekanin. That didn't work. There we go.
And his opponent to the lower left, the power of she. I was saying it with the Sean Connery accent. The power of she.
I see. That was a little bit better. I understood that one. So I said Lillekanin could have probably done this last time, but he didn't. He played out a macro game, and she was keeping up with him for a time, but then it became very obvious. I think the differences, come minute 6 or 7. So Lillekanin just gonna try and end this one quick and early.
I think one of the really important things for this was he thought, like, okay, maybe she really isn't silver or whatever league he said she was. Maybe it really was like a player who may have been smurfing. So he played it safe and cautious because he didn't know. Having felt out that first game, it was pretty evident by the engagement how this was going to maybe go. And now he realizes, okay, maybe I can get away with a bit of cheese because, yeah, they're not the Grandmaster player that I was worried they may have been.
Yeah. And she did open up one Rax expand. Picking Acolyte, you'd expect her to do the same thing, but I was like, wait, that's not a refinery? Yeah, she is going for double racks herself, which would usually set her up quite nicely against the 2 racks. And, we still don't really know what her skill level is. Someone in chat says Diamond 3, but I have no idea. But I think there's a certain type of build versus build with a certain skill level that actually work out fine. And I think if they go with 2 racks and you go with 2 racks and it's a bad map for a proxy 2 racks, I think a Diamond Micro will still beat out a Grandmaster, So I have some faith here, but then she adds on like a 3rd barracks and a reactor. I'm not sure if he's actually going to go into Reapers, just so loses the initial SCV war. So, yeah, it's Marines, never mind. And she got an orbital, which is problems.
It does not bode well. I think the pressure of game 1 and impressing this stream may have gotten to her. Also, like, this aside, like, it's funny because it does feel almost like a different player playing this time around.
Yeah. She was like a little late to her opener last time. Maybe she was like, I don't know, all tabbed and looking at something, but this time it's way off. And unfortunately, Marine just won't do very well against Reapers. With so many Marines, eventually she'd just be able to, deal with them, but the snowball's already kind of started for Lillekanin.
Yeah, and as long as he's grabbing them as they get produced, she's going to have troubles. It's funny, though, because you say maybe she's tapped out, look at it suddenly. I would immediately imagine, like, for me, especially when I was playing against Coca, not expecting great games, but I had a notepad open with build orders. I was looking at what to do. Like, I ain't ashamed to get a little bit of help from a couple of words.
Yeah. GG.
GG. Lillekanin takes the series. He'll advance on to fight against Raynor, which means we will likely be going to the European server to accommodate these two, as the server default is just there to resolve arguments. Players of the same server, or if they can agree to play on another server, are totally welcome to.
They want to play in Asia.
Yeah. Let's just throw this for a loop. Who's got the least amount of lag and who's got the nicest race? Combination of the two.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell them that they can just move over to Europe. So. well, yeah, will follow. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's Ting Season 4, Qualifier number 2. We already have sort of an Xanster qualified with 2 more from that qualifier, or from this qualifier, rather, and then people to invite as well. So let us know who you enjoy watching in case they actually don't make it out. See you guys soon.